This is Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for May 9th, 2025. The Cambodia Securities Exchange Index was down 1.19 points or 0.29% to 405.63. Total trade volume was up to 117,410 shares changing hands at a total value of 392.6 million real or over $98,000. On the main board, 4 stocks were up. Leading the market was Phnom Penh Autonomous Port, up 0.42% or 60 real to 14,200 real per share, followed by Sihanoukville Autonomous Port, which rose 0.34% or 40 real to 11,980 real per share. Other stocks also up were Akleda Bank and Grand Twins International. On the other hand, MJQ Education was the biggest loser of the day, down 5.12% or 110 real to 2,040 real per share, followed by Pestec Cambodia, which dropped 4.78% or 130 real to 2,590 real per share. Royal Group Phnom Penh SEZ was also down 10 real to 2,110 real per share. Meanwhile, the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority and Cam GSM remained flat. Over on the growth board, both stocks were down. JS Land dropped 9.01% or 310 real to 3,130 real per share, while DBD Engineering was down 0.48% or 10 real to 2,090 real per share. MJQ Education recorded the highest trade volume of the day with 53,341 shares changing hands at a total value of 108.8 million real or over $27,000, roughly 45% of Friday's total trade volume. Royal Group Phnom Penh SEZ recorded the second highest trade volume of the day with 27,422 shares changing hands at a total value of 57.5 million real or about $14,400, approximately 23% of May 9th's trade volume. In other market news, Akleda Bank released a disclosure notice for its Q1 2025 report, which showed that the company recorded a total revenue of 912.85 billion Khmer Real, which is an increase of 49.63 billion Real or 5.75% compared to the same quarter in 2024. Profit attributable to owners of the bank was also recorded at 171.6 billion Real, which is an increase of 63.54 billion Real or 58.8%. As of March 31st, 2025, Akleda Bank had total assets worth 45.99 trillion Khmer Real, which is an increase of 2.38 trillion Real or 5.47% compared to the end of 2024. Furthermore, equity attributable to shareholders of the bank increased by 132.88 billion Real or 2.22% to 6.11 trillion Real in the same period. Moving on to the exchange rate, the Khmer Real to USD strengthened slightly to 4,003 Real per US dollar, while the US dollar index was slightly up to 100.38. Looking at global commodities, oil prices were up on Friday after rising about 3% in the previous session, as trade tensions between top oil consumers US and China showed signs of easing, and Britain announced a breakthrough trade deal with the United States. Brent crude rose 43 cents or 0.68% to $63.27 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was up 42 cents or 0.7% to $60.33 a barrel. On Thursday, both contracts settled early 3% up. Gold prices rose on Friday and were headed for a weekly gain, supported by a weaker dollar and lingering geopolitical tensions, while focus remained on U.S.-China trade talks due this weekend. Spot gold was up 0.7% to $3,326.99 an ounce. The metal has gained 2.5% so far this week. U.S. gold futures were up 0.7% to $3,328.10. Stock futures were little changed early Friday, with investors hoping that the U.S.-United Kingdom trade deal framework is the beginning of more progress to come. As of the time of the Cambodian market's closing, futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average were down 16 points or 0.04%. Nasdaq 100 futures rose 0.12%, while S&P 500 futures were up about 0.04%. President Donald Trump on Thursday announced a preliminary trade agreement with the UK, which is the first deal between the US and a global trading partner since Trump's reciprocal tariff announcement last month. The details have yet to be finalized, but Trump has said that a 10% baseline tariff will remain in place in the UK. This was Darshana Gauchan with your B2B Cambodia Market update for May 9th. Have a great weekend.